What is going on, guys? Ricky C here, and welcome back to my Ericsson career mode in the beautiful blue Sauber. It is an absolutely charming car. I do love it. We're currently in 6th. It's done us well, 52 points. We've made the car work quite well for us overall. First 4 Grand Prix, we were a little bit off the pace. I think we only gathered about 8 points in the first 4 races, had a DNF and, you know, a couple of non-point finishes. But we've really upped it in the last few races since Spain and Monaco. And it's left us in 4th in the Constructors' Championship with 67 points. Really good effort so far. And here we go for the first time in the weekend, second time in the weekend, going into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Admittedly, I'm not the best at knowing all the corner names in Silverstone. It's not my most favourite Grand Prix. I mean, I think it's produced quite a lot of good Grand Prix over the last maybe 4 or 5 years. But before that, I didn't really enjoy racing the old layout. I think, yeah, since the new layout was introduced in 2010, it's been quite a fun race to drive on games, especially. I don't know, the AOR races, I think season 6, 7 and 8, despite 8 only having 8 drivers in, were 3 of the best Grand Prix AOR has actually ever seen. And if you didn't know, I raced in AOR for a long time. That's how I got into competitive racing and I guess YouTube in the end. But in practice, 1.5 seconds off the pace, not the best, but I think there's potential there. 4 tenths ahead of Nazi, so he's got an okay little bit of pace anyway. The prime tyres have never been that good tyres for us. It's always been the option tyre on the weekend, which has been the main tyre.
Welcome to this afternoon's qualifying session here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It's going to be an exciting afternoon as the teams battle it out for the prize of pole. Silverstone is steeped in racing history, and we can definitely say that every track position will be hotly contested in the next few minutes.
Over the last few years, there's been a range of winners from Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari. And I think those are the teams we need to look out for again in today's qualifying session.
Right, so qualifying. This is our lap. So going round Vale maybe, I think it's Vale, I don't know, then coming around this right-hander, going onto the pit straight for the first time, no DRS just yet, we'll get it later on in the lap twice. Going into the first right-hander, first turn, in 7th gear we sort of hit the apex and go a little bit wide, but that's okay. Now going into Village maybe, we get a little bit wide, sort of understeer quite a lot down into 2nd gear, then we get some oversteer and understeer again going into turn 3, 4. And now we're about to get the first load of DRS for this short Hanger Straight, Wellington Straight. It's the Wellington Straight going down into this fast left-hander, down into 3rd gear, sort of stay in 3rd gear, kick up to 4th and then back down to probably 2nd. We keep understeering though as we go down into 2nd, so and then we get a little bit of oversteer on the exit of Luffield, I think, could be Luffield, and now going into Cops and the old back straight. Up into 8th gear, one of the fastest parts of this track, down to 7th gear, we get quite wide. I'm not sure if we lost time there, maybe we just gained time going, I don't know, wide and extending, not the best thing to do, but there we go. Now we go from 8th gear down into 5th gear for the Chapel, which is this right-left bit here. We get a little bit kind of wobbly on the exit, get the second load of DRS for the Hanger Straight. Going up towards this right-hander, the 2nd to the 3rd to last corner, down to 4th gear. We're not going anywhere near the apex. Apparently we're allergic to it on this lap. Understeer has been absolutely massive, but it seems like it's not been the worst lap. I mean yes, it has been the worst lap. We could have done a much better lap than this and got a much better time, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5, actually, I don't really know, 4 or 5 tenths more. But in the end we get a 34.2. We have to see how well, and that's actually put us at the top of the timesheets by 2 tenths from Nico. So it's not the worst effort, to be fair, really, is it? And then we actually see that we did a much better time. We were 2 tenths faster in the first sector, about a 10th faster in the middle sector, and then in the last sector, this brilliant mistake happened. I dropped it and went into the gravel, lost a load of time, losing the lap, and then Nico Rosberg comes flying past and gets pole by 12 hundredths of a second. So good job, Richard. That was bad. The lap wasn't even good. Our fastest lap wasn't even particularly good. And we finished 12 hundredths off, so that should have been a pole there for us. I guess that second lap showed that we really didn't have the best first lap. I mean, to be 2 tenths up and then a 10th up in the middle sector, with probably time to gain in the final sector, is a little bit disappointing. But you know, I guess we'll have to move on, see what the race has to offer for us. We're in 2nd, so that's our best start of the year, I think, the season. Hamilton's just behind us, Nico Rosberg in front. So, sitting on the grid, waiting for the lights to go out. We have 3, we have 4, we have 5 lights. In first gear, away we go. We've got a pretty bad wheel spin start. Looks like Hamilton's coming up on the left-hand side. Massa's trying to find a way through, but he can't at the moment. Going into turn 1, it seems like we've held third position. Raikkonen's been hit off and gone really, really wide, so it's an awful start for Raikkonen. I think Massa and Bottas were both caught up in that as well. Hulkenberg's had a huge start with Ricciardo as well, up into 4th and 5th. So that's fantastic. That's good for us as well, because it seems like the Force Indias of Hulkenberg's been pretty bad this season, so hopefully we can make a gap, bridge a gap to Massa, Ricciardo, and see where we can go in this race. 3rd position, currently on the podium, in the podium positions. Hamilton and Rosberg look like they could be getting away with the, well, yeah, with a massive lead anytime soon. We'll have to see how the race unfolds though. So this is, on the whole, a pretty good start for us, as long as we don't go to gravel, most like we just did there. And on the end of lap 1, we can see that we've actually caught up to Rosberg and Hamilton. So, I mean, there's potential here. Massa's just jumped past Hulkenberg going into Vale. I think it's Vale. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we've actually set the fastest 2nd and 3rd sector of that race. I'm not sure if we got the fastest lap. It doesn't look like we did. 39.5 for our fastest lap so far. Going into Maggots and Beckett's. Hamilton and Rosberg are still just ahead of us, so we're within the 1 second for DRS at the moment. We won't get it this lap because obviously it's the 1st and 2nd lap you do not get DRS, and if it's wet you do not get DRS. 3rd lap it's enabled for the rest of the Grand Prix as long as it is dry. Hamilton makes a move up the inside of Rosberg going into Stowe. I remembered the corner name. Proud of myself. I looked at the cheat sheet a moment ago, and it looks like we might actually be able to have a look around the outside of Rosberg. He's braked quite early. We've just dived around the outside. Hamilton's looks like he's got the position. That's helped us, and now we're going up into 2nd with the fast Mercedes of Rosberg behind. But can we? The question is, can we catch Hamilton? We've just done the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, probably because Hamilton was battling Rosberg. We cut turn 1 just a tad, which is Abby. Be proud of me. I remember the corner names. As we go into the loop here, Hamilton seems like he might get better traction than us. We've gone a little bit wide, got on the curb, which isn't going to help our traction. Rosberg could have a run at us now. Yeah, Hamilton's just going into the distance. It looks like he's already got a 2nd to us by now, probably 1.5. We do have DRS though. We've done a slower 1st sector despite having DRS than the lap before. And we get to take a quick view at the start. So what happened to Raikkonen here? So you can see us on the right hand side. We have a slow start, but we do keep position. Raikkonen gets pushed out by Bottas. I think that's Bottas. And then he comes back on the track, hits either Verstappen or whoever the other... Oh, Sainz, that's who it is. And then comes back on the track and eventually, I think, joins back in about, 18th, 17th, 18th. So Massa gets a really good start, gets held up by us. He goes wide, pushes Bottas wide, who pushes Raikkonen wide. Ricciardo and Hulkenberg come flying up the inside. So here's Hulkenberg, starting in P9, still in 9th, going into turn 1. We get defensive up there on the right-hand side. Massa hits Bottas to wide, like a bit of a ping-pong effect, and Hulkenberg just takes 5 cars in one corner. I mean, that's 4 cars in one corner, sorry. That's impressive, really, isn't it? So here we've got a view of Hamilton getting around the outside of Rosberg. We then think we'll have a piece of that, go up the inside, lap 3, lap 5 now, but lap 3 we got the position, 2nd position, so it's really good for us. But now we've got, Hamilton's made a bit of a gap, 1.7 seconds, we no longer have DRS, we get grass on our tyres on the inside. Rosberg's absolutely biting at our gearbox. He really needs to get past and get onto Hamilton because he's got a championship to go and win. We're not going to be fighting for a championship this season. But it looks like Rosberg might have a go going into Stowe down the old pit straight. He's going up the inside. He's sort of made a half-hearted attempt. He's hit the rear tyre of us and he's gone spinning wide. Really stupid move there, personally, from Nico Rosberg. I'm always turning in that situation. No point as someone who's racing in any competitive form should you not turn in that situation. The other person was not alongside my side pod, which is the rule, so turning in, if they spin, they spin. That's it. If they hit you off, then they get a penalty. You shouldn't make stupid, half-hearted moves like that because the other driver shouldn't be having to look into his mirrors if the player isn't there. And we can actually see if the other driver isn't there, and I'm always going to turn in. But he got dropped back to 11th position as we looked at the race director there. So it's not good for Rosberg, but I think personally it's his own fault. And on lap 7, with Massa about 6 or 7 seconds behind us, we jump into the pits for the first time in the Grand Prix. So it looks like Hamilton could be doing a 1-stop, Massa could be doing a 1-stop, but we're doing a 2-stop. Actually, I think Massa might have... Massa's come into the pit stop. Hulkenberg's gone on. But it looks like we're going to be doing a 2-stop in this race. Option, prime, and then primes can probably last to about lap 18, 17, 18. So it looks like, yeah, prime option, which is probably going to be the fastest way for us to get around the Grand Prix anyway. Our tyres do seem to fall off as a human player and as a driver of the Sauber. But we've just got out of the pit stop ahead of Button by tenths. Tyres are stone cold, but it doesn't. We got DRS on signs Kvyat ahead, so it doesn't look like Button will be able to get past. Maybe if we didn't have the DRS, he would get past. But later in the lap, on lap 8, we've got the DRS on Kvyat and a pretty simple move, to be honest. The Red Bull Renault is not fast car in a straight line. Good round tracks like Hungary and Monaco, maybe Singapore, but in a track like Silverstone, the Red Bull don't really have a chance. And on lap 9, we actually come up to the back of the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg, who has not pitted since we hit him off. Since he hit himself off, sorry, not me, I didn't hit him off. That contradicts exactly what I said after the incident, and we almost hit his rear after sort of cutting Abby a little bit. We've stayed behind, and we're going to make a little bit of a half-hearted move up the inside, realise that that's definitely not going to work. We lock the rear brakes just a bit, and just about stay within the DRS of Rosberg. There's not really any need to make a move like that when you don't have anyone around you. There's not someone behind you who you need to defend from or who you need to get out of the way of. So here we have oh wow, so we've jumped up the inside of Rosberg there, making another half-heart. Well, that definitely wasn't half-hearted, that was full-hearted and a half. But it wasn't a good move in the end going into Brooklands. But now towards, I mean, it's not the worst move to make because it kind of unsettles the guy, and then he's not going to get the best run through the corner, and then we can just pass him down the straight. Because around the corner like Brooklands, and I don't know what the other part of Brooklands is, the corner after it, but around that like part of the track, Rosberg and Hamilton were much faster than us. So doing something like that sort of throws them off a bit, and it might mean that we can get a good run down the old pit straight. But it looks like quite a few cars have jumped into pits now, including Raikkonen, Ricciardo, and Hulkenberg, I believe the other car would be. Could be Vettel, I'm not sure where Vettel is. I mean, he started quite far down. It is Vettel, yeah. So Vettel, Raikkonen and Ricciardo jumped into the pit stops. Hulkenberg seems like he's sort of lost quite a lot of position. But on lap 18, the tyres are absolutely fucked. The temperature's good, so, you know, it's good to have good temperature in the tyres. And it looks like this could be our pit stop. I mean, you wouldn't want to pit too late. It's probably better for your option tyres to be going off towards the end of the Grand Prix than for your prime tyres to go off and then pit for options. Because then you've got a longer stint on the options when they're good and proper. And then on the last lap, if you have to defend, you have to defend. But we've come into the pit stop. Vettel's gone flying past, so that's one position lost. Ricciardo's gone flying past, that's another position lost. Raikkonen's gone flying past with Rosberg as well, so that's another 2 positions lost. So down in 6th position now, option tyres. Nobody else is going to pit for the rest of the Grand Prix, it seems. They're all within a good 10 seconds. You can see them going into Brooklands now, so that's about 10 seconds up to there, maybe a little bit more. But we've got option tyres, we've got about 7 laps to go, and hopefully we can catch up to the rest of the non-stoppers and pass them, except for Hamilton, because he's just been way too fast here at his own Grand Prix, which is very impressive. Yep, we come all across the line, fastest lap, 34.8. Ricciardo goes up the inside of a back marker. We go up the inside of them all. It seems like Raikkonen's really slowed them down, and the manner of, I don't know, Stevens or Merry slowed them down a lot, and it means that we've been able to jump Rosberg and Raikkonen going into the loop, which is absolutely fantastic for our Grand Prix, because that's just no time lost there. I mean, we get past them and we can go and hunt Ricciardo and Vettel now, who are only just up the road. With the fastest lap of the 34.8 just being set by us as well. I mean, we've got pace. They've got old prime tyres. Option tyres here are much, much faster with how the corners work out. There are lots of long straights, so a good engine is very helpful, but the corners are very hard on the tyre, so having soft tyres is probably the way to go. And going into Brooklands now, it seems like we might be able to jump up the inside of Ricciardo. We have done. Almost hit his side pod, but it seems like this move was pretty easy in the end. He's not going to be able to catch us down the straight. We get on the curb a little bit, almost brushed a gravel wall, but that's sort of what you want to do around that corner. And on lap 23, you can see the tyres are just about yellow, and I think they'll be fine for the rest of the Grand Prix. We've set another fastest lap of the 34.8, it seems, or maybe the fastest third sector. And now only 9 tenths behind Vettel. It looks like, I mean, we're in 3rd at the moment, so that's absolutely fantastic for our race. It means, can we get our first podium of this championship? 9 races in. I mean, we could have got one in Monaco, we could have had one in Spain. Austria, we could have had one if we hadn't had the spin with Raikkonen. So this could be a really, really good way to kickstart our season. I mean, we've had good results before this, but a podium is always a really good boost for the team and for me. Gets me motivated for the next race, which is going to be Hungary. And going into Brooklands again, can we do exactly the same move as we did on Ricciardo? Vettel's left the door wide open. We've jumped up the inside, almost as its side pod. A little bit easier than the move from Ricciardo, I think. And yeah, identical move. Get on the curb, and away we go. Through Woodcut here, bit of a non-corner, but down the old pit straight into Stowe. We've got another move done. Second place, 24th lap, and this is really, really what we need. A podium would be fantastic, but can Vettel come back at us? He's taken a look. His tyres aren't going to be in the best shape for Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, so hopefully here we can kind of bridge the gap. Looks like we are doing that. Down to 4th gear. Want to be a little bit close to the apex there, but we still get a much better exit than Vettel is the driver of the name behind me. Name of the driver behind me. I don't know how to speak anymore. And on the 26th lap, can we fuck this up? Who knows? Probably not. Going into Vale. Down to 2nd gear. Just take it nice and easy. The tyres, as you can see, are quite worn as this game goes. Vettel's quite far behind us. We're going to celebrate. Down to 2nd gear. Trying to do wheel spins. Not slow enough to do wheel spins, but finally get our first podium. 2nd. And here we go. Hamilton's up on the top split depth. Vettel in 3rd. There's no two better drivers to accompany you up there. In 2015, you can see that the team are absolutely ecstatic. Ericsson's so happy, and so am I. I mean, I just want to play the Swedish national anthem. I won't, because I think we're going to get a win this season. Well, I hope we're going to get a win, but absolutely brilliant for our race there. I mean, I would never expected the Sauber to be able to get a podium in Silverstone, but we've done it. First podium season, 18 points as well. I mean,
what a car they've got this year.
Right, that was a very, very quick outro by David Croft. Sort of caught me by surprise. But 23 seconds behind Hamilton. Absolutely fantastic race. 34.8 fastest lap. Our first fastest lap of the season, I believe. Nasser didn't have a good one. Hulkenberg got 2 points, so I'm good to see that he's getting some points. I mean, I do like Hulkenberg. He's probably the driver I support in modern day F1. But that's an absolutely fantastic result. I think we're about to see the drivers' standings, and that should jump us above. Yeah, it will jump us above Massa. I think we got 12 more points than him, if I can see that correctly. Puts us in 5th with 70 points. I mean, 9 points ahead of Massa now. A massive, 37 behind Raikkonen. So that's the top 4 aren't really going to be touchable from us. I think the objective for the rest of the season is gather as many podiums as we can, get a pole position, get a win. If I can get those 3 things, then I'll be really, really happy with this career mode. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching. Any likes, comments, tell me what I'm doing wrong is really appreciated as well. I'll continue to do this. Every Sunday it will be uploaded, hopefully during the week as well. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching and goodbye.